Alan Lamb and Ian Botham. Ian Botham, Alan Lamb. Ian Lamb, Alan Botham. Great names to conjure with. Whichever way you look at them, you will think of English cricket at its finest, at its most glorious, days when we used to win every single game by vast margins. Now on this video, you can see these two great colossi of cricket, sadly no longer bestriding our grounds. You can see them recreate their careers. You can see them reliving their finest triumphs. You can see them as men of wit, men of humour. You can see them revealing all. You can see them telling downright lies. Alan Lamb and Ian Botham. We shall not forget you, and this video has thousands of reasons why.
And he's got a chance this time, and he's gone this time. So what a great over this for Botham. There's his 100th wicket in Test match cricket. He's got rid of it by getting out Gavaskar. Well, he's away, and I think there's got to be 3 runs here for him, because everybody is aware he wants 3. Nobody more so than Graham Gooch. In fact, he's gone for 4. Botham knows, he's been informed of the fact here for a change, and the crowd know, and Bishop Bailey, the first to walk out and congratulate him on this truly remarkable performance. So there he is, the biggest double in Test matches, 1,000 runs, 100 wickets. He's reached it in fewest ever Test match of any cricketer who's ever played. In 21 Test matches, he's already there.
In the air, Gadding's under it. Marsh, the batsman, and he's out. Gadding has caught it, a brilliant catch off Botham, who thoroughly deserved the wicket. And Marsh has gone for a dashing 52. And that is Ian Botham's 200th Test match wicket. His 200th wicket in his 41st Test, beating Alec Betts' record for England, which established 200 wickets in 44 Tests.
And he's gone, yes, up goes the finger, and Duzin is out. A nice little lollopy, sloppy catch there to slip, no problem at all. The applause ringing round the ground now for Ian Botham, because that was his 300th Test match wicket. That's it. Another great 4 from Botham. Full follow through, powered it away, and that takes Ian Botham to 4,000 runs in Test match cricket.
Imran Khan will be bowling to Ian Botham. Now that's 4 runs, just playing defensive shot, and it runs away down to 3rd man. No chance of the fielder stopping that, and that's Ian Botham's 5,000 runs in Test cricket.
Beautiful ball, just the suggestion of in-swing, and Ian Botham has become the greatest wicket taker of all time. He beats Dennis Lillee as Botham takes his 356th Test wicket, and Jeff Kerr is the victim.
It's amazing what sort of player he is, because I don't think England would ever, for quite a long time, get a player of the Ian Botham's caliber, because you hear about some of these so-called pretenders and things like that. Ian was a basic match winner, and when you had someone like that in your team and the things he did for the team, it was just wonderful, and it was a pleasure, I think, for me, knowing the man.
You can have all the ability in the world, but if you are not mentally strong, nor will you come through or make it in any walk of life. And Ian Botham was very, very mentally strong. He was a tremendous competitor. He was one of the greatest all-rounders that I've ever seen. And I've seen some great all-rounders in my time, stood there in the middle, Garfield Sobers, Imran Khan, Kapil Dev, Richard Hadlee, and of course Ian Botham. And Ian's up there amongst the greats. When Ian was playing cricket, if I had been I was a selector in those days, he would have been the first man on my sheet. He would be the first player I would pick, because somewhere along the line Ian Botham would win me a Test match, and that's what it's all about. He was a tremendous competitor and a great Test cricketer, great all-round Test cricketer. He was a match winner.
him. 114 for 6. He's out. LBW. First ball and Botham's on a hat-trick. Lilly is gone. It's 120 for 8.
And is bowled in, and that surely is going to be it. A joyous, triumphant Botham there. Arms aloft again, 121 for 9, and the man that they so much needed to see the back of, Martin Kent. That's it this time. He's made sure he's taken 5 wickets, he grabs the stump, and another memorable victory for England. Tremendous performances. Australia finally dismissed on this 4th day of this 4th Cornhill Test for 121.
It only seems like yesterday, you know. I stood in his first Test match at Trent Bridge against England v Australia when he took 5 wickets. It was his first Test match. And I knew then, I said to myself, England have got a good one here, because he swung the ball and he left the bat very late. And if you leave the bat very late, away from away swing late, that gets the great players out. And Ian Botham had this gift. And I said then, this lad's going to go a long, long way in Test match cricket. And I've been proved right. I mean, Lammy was a tremendous competitor as well. I mean, let's be fair, he was a very, very good Test batsman, was Alan Lamb. And he's another one you'd always penciling in your side, because somewhere along the line, he would play you a match-winning Test innings.
That's it. Beautiful shot, square on the offside. 4 runs for Alan Lamb. Takes him through to a very, very well-deserved 100. He's had to battle hard for these runs. 103. Been in there a long, long time, but I can't recall him given a chance, and that's quite an accomplishment against this sort of pace attack.
Alan Lamb now to 98, Downton 17, 234 for 5. Logie. And 100 for Alan Lamb from the misfield. Pressure on the fielder, and Alan Lamb goes to a century. And I think in years to come he might look back on this as one of the best hundreds he's made in first-class cricket. And he's got it away. Got to take 2, and will do so. 100 to Alan Lamb. He's the first man in the history of Test match cricket to score 3 centuries against the West Indies in a series in this country.
They were they were great characters, both, and Lammy, tremendous characters, and I missed them out there in the middle. We used to have a laugh and a joke, and it used to help break the tension, because Test matches, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of pressures in Test matches, and it used to break that. And it was nice to see people laughing. It was marvellous. And there was another incident in a Test match, again at Trent Bridge. I came into my position at the bowler's end, and not realising that Botham Lammy had put all these Chinese crackers down where I stand, behind the stumps. And I stood on these Chinese crackers, not realising I had, and they were going off, the firecrackers going off all over the place. I was jumping all over. They used to play all sorts of tricks on me in the middle, unbelievable.
Anywhere but down the middle.
Take cover!
Don't know what you're saying, just a nice easy swing.
Nice easy
okay,
swing,
Captain.
Buffy.
Now this man does hit it a long way.
Lammy and golf is a little bit like King Herod and babysitting. But he hasn't really got the patience, Lammy. He's a bit, Mr. Busy. But the problem is that he doesn't play too well after 3 bottles of Chardonnay.
We played in Aberdeen, and he had his Volvo man there, who does a bit for the golf, and I played off 23. Both said he'll give me a shot to hole, which is fair enough. Both plays off 5, and I hammered him, and he's not happy about that. So we haven't played since, and he's waiting to get me on, but he says he's not going to give me a shot to hole anymore. But I loved it. It was great stuffing him.
The worst one I had without doubt was probably the last 2 or 3 days of the East Coast Walk, where my young lad ran over me with a mountain bike, and the heel went septic, and because I compensated on one side, because I compensated on one side with the walking because of the septic foot, the other foot went septic on me and blistered and went dirty. It's a rotten weather like this, and that's when you get infections. And I did the last 2 days with 2 holes in my heels each side, the size of a 10-pence piece.
I can tell you I've only done about a couple of miles here, but at this pace it is really, really tough. I've had to jog most of the way. Ian, the troops are saying that you're setting a faster pace today than any other.
Well, I can see the finish line. I want to get there. I want to put my feet up for a week.
And a few jogs down the hills, huh?
Yeah, it takes the pressure off the shins and off the knees. Relieves it, it's good. It actually feels very nice, and I hate jogging.
Well, I'm going to leave you to it. I think I'll drop back a bit. I can't keep up at this pace.
For the last half a mile of the walk, everyone joins in. All the helpers and collectors walk with Ian through the finish. This is an emotional moment for everyone. After 22 days on the road, 546 miles, the end is in sight, and it's almost hard to believe.
Absolutely fantastic what he's done, and no one can knock him for it.
I think it's brilliant what he's doing for charity. It's really good. I wish I could do it. Yeah. Might try.
I think it's splendid. I couldn't do it. I haven't got legs long enough, have I?
I think it's a great cause what he does in supporting leukemia, because I support a charity called Cystic Fibrosis, which I had a bit of a scare with my kids. So I think anything for charity is fantastic, and what he does and the money he raises for leukemia is fantastic. But I'll probably do one sort of stunt with him, you know. I've never done it, but it must be bloody hard, because I know some fit people have tried to do it and they've just haven't made it at all.
No, I've had many great stories with him, many great times, and I regard him, I should think, probably as one of my best mates in the world of cricket. We've had, as I say on stage, we roomed together for 6 wonderful years, and then the wives put a stop to it, which can be interpreted in many ways.
How long have I known Ian? I played against Ian in 1978 when I first came over here, but I got to know him in 1982 when I was first selected to play for England. And he was great, really, because, you know, being a new guy coming into the side is always difficult, and it was brilliant. You know, he was so friendly and, you know, just sort of, you know, join in type of thing, and he just made it much easier. Him and David Gower were great, and they were my sort of 2 closest friends. And ever since then, you know, we've been fishing together, we've been touring together, and we've had fun.
The first ever question I got asked on stage, and you'll like this, Jim, it's a bloody funny story. I was petrified, right? First time ever going onto stage. Yeah. 700 people, 700 people, Stourbridge, first night ever, and I looked behind the curtain, I looked there and I thought, bloody hell, what am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? And I went out there and I said to Dave English, who was then the compere, the job that Jez does now, I said, look, we'll just take it actually as it comes out. Go for it, what the hell. So I walked out, and the first question we got was, is it true that you're hung like a rhino? If so, it's true. And he read it out, and there's 700 people. He said, is it true that you're hung like a rhino? If so, my name's Kate Williams, I live at 7 the High Street or something, telephone number. And it broke the ice. Everybody just collapsed around laughing, and the whole audience, and it broke the ice, and that was it. It just flowed from there. But I was petrified. I kept the telephone number.
There we go. Yeah, I think the travelling's been the worst, because we normally do the show and then drive to the next town or venue wherever we're going. So we had this luxury coach, which was great, but I went off the drink for the whole of February, and Both found me the most boringest friend he's ever come across. It was very hard. It was a challenging thing, because there was Lauren Perrier Rosé going past my nose every 10 seconds, and red wine, and you name it. Our coach was well stocked up, so it took a lot of willpower not to have a drink. But I managed to get through. But I took February because it's only got 28 days.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Nice to drink again.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Botham and Alan Lamb.
Right, let's do it.
Little perler to start with, lads. This one should be interesting for you. From Paul Ross, just what is wrong with English cricket?
I tell you, don't laugh. I think Scotland are probably wondering what's wrong with their bloody rugby after today.
I don't know, where do you start? Where do you start with it? I suppose you've got to start at the top with Raymond, probably Pontius Pilate Illingworth, and then work your way down, because I got the mic, you never win. But Ray Illingworth, the man that covers his own backside, and strange, but the one good thing that has come out of it now is that he is the man. So we have one person. And as Lammy has said for many years now, if you have one person, you can point the finger at one person. If they don't do the job, they're out of the job. It amazingly managed to blame everyone else for what's happened this winter. Well, he has no hiding place now. He said he wants it as Supremo. He's got it as Supremo, which is right. And I wish him well, because if he does well, English cricket does well. But I'll be quite frank with you and honest with you, I think he's just too old-fashioned. The game has gone past him, and I think that it's like anything in sport, you've got to have your finger on the pulse. And I'm sorry, I don't think he has. I hope I'm wrong, for the sake of English sport. And I'll be the first to say to him, well done, if it happens, but I just don't see it happening. Just don't see it happening. To get the best out of the players, you've got a rapport, and this is where Lammy is so good. You could have a rapport with him, you could have a laugh with him, he fired you up, he got people playing. This is what we're lacking, and I just don't see Ray Illingworth doing that. He'll probably moan at me for saying this, but he's very quick to come out with his opinion whenever it suits him. He's not a motivator, he's a whinger.
I think, as Ian said, it's great to see that one man is running the show. We're not too sure if he is the right one, but the problem is we have too many committees. No one can make a decision up there. They all sit on the fence. They wait for another committee to make a decision, and nothing's done up there. That's the problem. But I also think there's a breakdown in communications. You take the winter tour. Illingworth, fantastic he was, making those comments about Michael Atherton, say, Michael Atherton knows my telephone number. If there are any problems, he can give me a ring. But the stupid Pillock didn't give him the blimmin' code for Spain, did he? I don't think a guy who is going to be the leader of the England side can sort of have an argument or make statements in the media about his team lying in Spain, which is ridiculous. It's no way you can have a start of a test match when Atherton said, well, he always wanted Angus Fraser to play, and Illingworth turned around and said, oh, well, it wasn't my side I picked. I mean, how can you make statements like that? It's absolutely ridiculous. And I think you've got to start communicating better with the team, and I think if Atherton gets the support from Illingworth, then all the better. I think the problem was that we went out there, we had Mike Smith, manager. Well, he found it very difficult organising the hotels and blimmin' cabs. I think that was
What we do have to do with our game is make it competitive domestically. Because at the moment, as it showed against the Australians this winter, they wanted it more than we did. And that to me is sad. Because when you play sport at any level, you play it bloody hard on the field and hard off the field is the way to do it. Now, what we're not doing is playing it hard on the field, and this stems, I think, from our own domestic game not being competitive. Now, if you have two divisions, because if you think half the sides from about the end of June, beginning of July, play meaningless cricket. They're languishing at 10th, 12th, 13th, 14th in the Championship, they're out of the Bensons, they're out of the Nat West, and they're in the Sunday League. What have they got to play for? Not a lot. So the way I see it, if you have two divisions, 8 in the first, 9 in the second, if you're going to have the same amount of counties, and you play each other home and away, then every game becomes competitive because you have promotion and relegation, a little bit like we've done with rugby in England. So, Do that, every game becomes a test match. The season goes right the way down to the wire. It creates interest, it creates competitiveness, and I think more importantly, you'll see guys, this winter the boys, they showed that they didn't know how to be competitive, with the exception of one or two. And I think you have to play competitive cricket all the season. And the way to do that is, one way to do it is to have 2 divisions.
But I think what I'd like to see in county cricket is the staffs cut down to about 15 players, because at the moment we have about 25, 28 players playing, and it's far too many people. What I'd like to see, if it's down to 15, we'll give the youngsters more of a chance. At the moment, what we do, all the good youngsters, 17, 18, 19, what happens, they get signed on for 3 years, a lot of talent, but they get ended up playing in second team cricket, which is ridiculous. And you can't sign them on because counties got them under 3-year contracts, so they're not allowed to move. If we knock the county, the staffs down to 15, and you didn't pick those players, then they were entitled to move around. And then you would get rid of all the deadwood in in county cricket, because there's too many people. If you take Australia, South Africa, West Indies, there's 80% of the players there that are going to play test cricket. We've got 20% playing county cricket, which is totally wrong. We should have a lot more people that are going to play for England playing professional cricket. And at the moment, there are too many people playing professional cricket are just finding it a job. And I think that's totally wrong. I'd also like to see a lot more money going to schools cricket, because at the moment, I think that's where we're going to get the youngsters from. And there are far too many schools that don't play cricket. And what I'd like to see is get ex-cricketers into the schools and helping them. Not people who go along and get an MCC coaching certificate and know bugger all about cricket. I'm afraid Ian and I'll never get an MCC coaching certificate. I don't think they got the reverse sweep in there, have they? But
the fun seems to have gone out of British sport, or certainly out of cricket. Yeah. We seem to have gone into this clone system where everybody's, you've got to run 5 miles, you've got to do this. We are going through a very bad time for English sport. What you've got to realise is that, what these people don't realise, that sport is fun. The whole object of playing sport is to have a good time. You compete with someone. I mean, it's a bloody good way to make a living, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. And so why is it that people want to make it into such a dreary, drab occupation? I don't understand it. No, it's not. That'll be edited. That will be edited. That will be edited.
From John Hayes, what's been the most memorable day or match of your cricket careers?
I think for a number of reasons. 1986 Seven Tour of Australia. As we flew out there, it was a very long tour, and we didn't start off too well. In fact, we lost to everybody. Wagga Wagga, third 11. Western Australian young farmers. We weren't setting the world alight. And on the eve of the first test in Brisbane, one of the broadsheets wrote, the only problem with this England side is that they can't bat, bowl or field. Phew, it's not a big rap, is it? So we went out, we won the toss, we had a good first day. And on the second day we lost a couple of wickets early on, and then myself and David Gower put on quite a few runs.
That's what we were talking about a little earlier, that if he really decides to go at it, that field that's set out there is not going to contain him. He's such a powerful hitter.
All good shots, straight down the ground. Botham doesn't bother running. When he hits them, they stay hit. He's punishing on anything that's well pitched up, and that's an example of the powerhouse type of play he's capable of. He's hit that in the air, and that's going down towards the mid-wicket boundary. Slightly over-pitching again and slightly off-line. Botham hitting straight through that one. Another really good positive shot.
The England all-rounder looking very keen to impress this local crowd.
He's gone for it again. There's a man down there, but that one's wide of the man. into the ground and into the fence down at square leg. So Bruce Reid coming in for a bit of punishment here at the hands of Ian Botham. He's looking very dangerous. England 4 for 257.
Really reaches for that one. Gets a thick edge on it, and it's well and truly over the third man boundary. Obviously a very thick edge.
Only a man of power and ability can play a shot like that.
And Reid again. It's a short ball, and Botham this time smashing it away high and square. One bounce, two bounces into the fence. There are two men down there, and the Australians clearly have set that trap in the hope that Botham will hole out to one of the two of them. Hit that one just a little bit too well.
He had a tremendous belt away on the offside.
Diversing slightly, on my first ever tour in 1977 to Australia, we were sponsored by the company JVC. And one of our commitments was that whenever we played a test match in the centres, we'd do a day's coaching. And there was be 4 of us, so you drew the names out, and I got Melbourne. Now, they decided to do it, for some reason, on the rest day. So everyone was really enthusiastic about it. You've just bowled 50 overs and 45 degrees of heat. And I'm there, and this young lad came up to me, and he pulled me on the sleeve. He said, "G'day, Mr. Botham." He said, "I want to be a quick bowler, mate. Have you got any advice?" And I looked at him, I said, "Yeah, play golf or tennis." So in 86, 87, Big Bad Mirth comes on with a second new ball, and we take to him, and he disappears to all parts.
Botham on 99. Straight down the ground, beautifully played, and that brings up Ian Botham's century. This really has been a magnificent batting performance by one of the greatest all-rounders of all time. And now he really is going to go. He smashed that miles. It's gone way over the top of deep square leg. Well, he's going to cut loose now, that's for sure. What a magnificent shot.
10, 12, 15 and over, balls are flying over third man, over square leg, hooked out the ground, and he went for a lot. 40, 50, maybe 60 runs with that second new ball. Then it rains, and we came off. We stood there, and he comes up to me and he goes, "Well played, Beef." He said, "Well played, mate." He said, I said, "Thanks, Smith, pleased to meet you." He said, "Well, actually, we have actually met once before." I said, "Oh, yeah, when?" He said, "In 77 in Melbourne. I was the guy that came up to you in the nets and pulled you on the arm and said, 'G'day, Mr. Botham, I want to be a quick bowler.'" He said, "What do you think now?" I said, "I was bloody right, Merv." But the reason that was such a successful tour, and what made it so great, was we won the first test, we'd won the Ashes by the Melbourne test, we won the Benson Hedges triangular match with Australia, us and whoever it was, and then we went on to Perth to play in the Perth Challenge, and we beat all comers. We lost one match from that first test match for the next 4 months. And that, I think, was the happiest, most enjoyable tour I've ever been on. The British press had to write nice things about us, which they found very difficult. But the highlight of it was, without doubt, it's great to beat the Australians, but to stuff them in their own backyard is a magnificent feeling.
I think one of my highlights was probably beating the West Indies in Jamaica on the last trip I went out there, and beating the West Indies for the first time. I'd played 28 test matches against them, and we lost every one. We didn't even get a sniff, I can tell you that. And when we beat them in Jamaica for the first time in some 30-odd years, I tell you what, that rum did taste nice, I can tell you that. But I think one of the highlights must have been that 86-87 trip, what Ian was talking about, because they used to have those day-night games. And those day-night games used to be great. We loved them because we could get on the piss, sleep till about 2 o'clock, right? And then walk down to the ground, put those pajamas on, and out we go and play, you see. But the only problem when you had Mickey Stewart and Graham Gooch in charge, you had to go for a run at 9 o'clock in the morning. But what had happened, we played in a day-night game at Sydney, and I managed to get 18 runs off the last over, which was great, and poor Bruce Reid was the unlucky bowler.
England 7 for 216. They need 18 runs off 6 balls to be bowled. So the odds favour Australia. Alan Lamb on strike to Bruce Reid. Smash that. Coming back for the second. The throw's wide of Bruce Reid. 2 runs. Hesitation by the batsman. Wild throw by the fieldsman, Wellham. De Freitas staggers home.
This Wellham had De Freitas with a good throw. De Freitas hesitated, and a good throw was going to have him in big trouble.
That's 4. That makes it interesting. Lamb's first boundary off 99 deliveries faced, and what a time to hit a 4.
12 runs off 4 balls. Alan Lamb had looked around to see that fine leg had been brought up, and that's what he was looking for. The other thing that he did was wander around in the crease as Bruce Reid was running in, trying to put the bowler off.
Bruce Reid swung that at 6. Is it? That's a big hit. It's somewhere over there. I can't see it. It's gone. It's gone for 6. Amen. Well. What a hit of Bruce Reid over long on. Lamb gave himself some room. He smashed it. The ball went high into the sky, and away it went. 2 boundaries for Lamb, a 4 and 6 just at the right time.
Well, his timing has been astray, but he's found it just at the right moment. That's really about the first ball that Lamb has hit in the middle. The 4 that he hit wasn't really middled, it was just well placed. But that one was really well hit and went about 20 rows back up onto the hill. 6 off 3 balls.
Australia need a wicket. Smash! Wellham fields, just the single. There's the throw, they're going through, it's an overthrow, what a time for an overthrow, there's another one! Oh dear, just at the wrong time, the wheels falling off, a little bit of panic. This game's far from over, but Lamb, the man in a crisis.
Well, the worst thing it's done for Australia is it's got Alan Lamb back on strike. Bad throw from Dirk Wellham. And it got away from Bruce Reid. It skidded off. Reid really should have saved that. He should have had everything behind it. But now it's brought Alan Lamb on strike, and England want 4 for victory.
The big danger is down fine leg. There's nobody down fine leg. A nick over the top of the keeper. In comes Bruce Reid. There it goes. It's in the gap. It's going over towards the boundary. It's 4 runs, and Lamb pulls off a miraculous victory. What a performance by Alan Lamb. He struggled for 99 deliveries. He hit a 4, a 6, a 2 and a 4, and the crowd has gone wild, and all of a sudden, out of the blue comes Alan Lamb, and away goes 2 points for Australia. A victory that was never on with 2 overs to be bowled.
But what was great about that, with about 3 overs to go, all the Australians left the ground to go and celebrate in the pubs another victory. What happened, our die-hard supporters stayed on, saw the last ball bowled, and saw us win. Well, you can imagine them going to the pubs to celebrate too. There must have been one almighty punch-up, I can tell you that. What happened from that one, we went and played another one-day international. We were playing at Adelaide. And you know, the Aussies are great. They always got these banners around the ground and taking the mickey out of you and that. And I was batting at the time, and Bruce Reid was bowling again. And in he came to bowl. And just before he was about to deliver this ball, I caught a glimpse of the sign behind him. And I pulled away, and he said, "What's wrong with you, pommy bastard?" And I turned around and said, "Well, it's nothing, Bruce, but there's a message for you." He said, "What you talking about?" I said, "Behind you, Bruce." And he turned around, and there was this message. It said, "Bruce Reid, please phone Alan Lamb on 426442.
From Mr. Mullen, how on earth can England afford to leave out a player like Robin Smith?
Easy. We got top selectors, haven't we? But I think it's totally ridiculous. A guy that averages 45 in test matches and you leave him out, well, I don't know. They've got no brains at all. The thing is, I think why they left him out, they said that Robin Smith couldn't play Shane Warne. But if you saw Robin's record against Shane Warne in the last Ashes series, Shane Warne only got him out 3 times. But they don't go back. You remember a guy called Terry Alderman came over here. I think he got Graham Gooch out every test match. And Graham didn't even want to play in the last test match, but the selector stuck by him and said, you know, carry on playing. And that's the only way you're going to improve, by playing against Shane Warne, not sitting here at home and watching it on television. And I think that's the way Robin Smith's going to improve, playing Shane Warne. But I think it was ridiculous not taking him, and I just hope that the selectors get their minds right, because I think we're going to need him in that side against the West Indies, because he's not going to stand there like a coconut shy. He'll take the West Indies on.
It used to make me laugh, because every test ground we went to, because of Shane Warne, the England selectors would get every leg spinner for about 30 square miles. And they'd be 7 to 70, and they'd come running in, bowling these leg spinners, and Judgy used to smash the poop out of them all around the ground. But then Shane Warne came on, and, Jesus Christ, Beefy, which way did that go? But there is a saying in sport, though, and this applies very much to Judgy, and that is that form is temporary, class is permanent. He'll be back.
Cracking shot. That really is the Robin Smith that we all remember. That's often been his favourite shot. For a long, long time it's been his most productive shot.
Well, it's his confidence growing here. I think that just about signals that he feels pretty good.
Paul Moore, equally emphatic. Curtly Ambrose is going to have to bowl better than that.
From Charlie Mullen, quite simply, how would you two play Shane Warne?
Not a problem.
Oh, attack him, do it. Oh, there are plenty of ways of playing him.
I can understand that they haven't worked him out. It's easy. Very, very. He'd never have got us out, would he?
No chance.
All you've got is tactics. Friday night, you take him down the pub for 3 or 4 hours. If that doesn't work, on the way home, you stamp on his spinning finger. But no, I think how many people could honestly say in this room that 5 years ago they would think that today the leading strike bowler in world cricket would be a leg spinner. Amazing. And Warne is a great guy. Don't take any notes of the stuff that's been written about him. He's a really nice guy, and he's got a perfect temperament to play cricket, because really he'd rather be on the beach. And that sounds a little bit bizarre, but it does actually work if you think about it, because if you become too obsessed with anything, pressure cricket, if you become too obsessed with anything, it surely kills the fun of playing, and sport is about having fun. And I think Shane Warne, if he keeps playing, he could take 500, 600, 700 wickets if he wanted, because I think him and Darren Gough, I think, could well be the two superstars of cricket for the next 10 years, and if they are, good luck to them. But I think they're both a credit to their countries, and Shane's a good lad.
Shane Warne's variety, apart from the stock leg spinner, he bowls a wrong-un or a googly. He has a top spinner, and he also has a flipper.
First ball. Now what's happened? Mike Gatting staying there. The bail is off. He's bowled him. Gatting can't believe it. Dickie Bird, I suppose, can believe it. First ball, lethal.
So I think for a moment that Mike Gatting must have felt that it perhaps hit the keeper and went back onto the stumps. It's a perfectly pitched leg spinner, pitching just outside leg with a little bit of curve, and that's a beautiful delivery. Not a bad one to start with. I can understand Mike Gatting being disbelieving.
So well in the earlier part of the over. He's dismissed Martin Crowe. Now there's a scalp for you. He did it more with pace than anything.
The whole over was a quality over, bit of pace and bounce, and he fully earned that wicket.
From Alex York, You two are obviously very keen fishermen. Any interesting tales from the riverbank?
Yeah, I've got one of them, yeah. When he first came over, he said to me, listen, Beefy, I want to go and catch a salmon, eh? So I said, all right, mate, look, we're going up at the end of September, beginning of October, we'll fly up to Scotland, into Callander, River Teith there, who knows, we might get a fish or two, if it's right. So we fly up, it's hosing down as we land. So we walk down to the river, it's 8 foot over the mark. There are TV sets, settees, cows, all sorts floating down this river. So we thought, right, we'll go into the pub, have a word with the local lads and find out what they've been catching the salmon on. And also we had to get over the jet lag because it was a long flight from Heathrow. So we came out the pub on Wednesday. We did actually, it wasn't fit to fish until Wednesday. So we went down Wednesday evening, have a look at it. It's still a bit murky, but we had a few casts, gave up, went back and said, right, tomorrow it's going to be spot on. So we wandered down to the river. That morning, drove down, I've got to go to London. A mate of mine's died. Bloody useless Tommy he was, I knew he'd get me back because the river was spot on. And you could tell it had that mist over it, water was alive with bubbles. So off I go, I come back to the pub that evening, there he is, grin from ear to ear. All right, where is it? £15 bar of silver. So we have a couple of drinks, still grinning, £16 bar of silver. No, I'm not happy now. I'm getting extremely cheesed off. So I thought, well, we'll have a few drinks tonight, celebrate the fish. I'll get up early, get a few into him. I'll get up early in the morning, onto the river before he's even out of bed. That's the plan. Get up the next morning, 6:30, tippy-toe, down the stairs, just opening the hotel door, got my hand on the rods, and there he is. Hey, listen, Beefy, you didn't think you'd get away that easy, eh? So off we go across the water, across the field to the river. And I think, right, I'll stick him in there. I know the worst place on this beat is there. I know they haven't caught a fish there for how long. So I said, yeah, this is a great spot, Lemmy. I'll set you up here, pal. Keep spinning across there, fly, whatever you want to do. Set the rods up, leave him in there. I wander up 30 yards to where the two rivers meet, a great spot. Get out there. I'm just putting the fly on the line. Beefy, come quick, man. Jesus Christ, it's a crocodile.
And he came along, got hold of the rod. He said, you bloody bastard. He said, this is a fish. Well, he waded in the water and he pulled out this 28-pounder for me. So you can imagine, he was as sick as a parrot. We'd been up Scotland fishing. He said it took him 7 years to catch his first one. I'd been up for a week and caught 3. So I said, it's bloody hard, this fishing, isn't it, Bob?
It peed down at lunchtime, end of fishing, lamb 3, both of them nil. I was not happy.
The boss said, listen, mate, he said, you're not going to catch a salmon. It's bloody difficult. It took me 7 years before I caught my first one. Well, I did have a chuckle, I can tell you that. But there was a story I didn't tell him about, is that early on in that day, I had this gilly, and he was taking me to all these different places in the river to fish. And eventually, we sort of fished the town water in Callander, right where the old car park is. And there's just hundreds of people milling around, taking their dogs for a walk, and it's right on a path. And the gilly said to me, throw your line across over here, cast out here. There was loads of salmon jumping around, and so I thought, brilliant. Anyway, I started casting out there. Eventually, the line goes tight. I think, great, 2-1, yeah. And I start reeling in. All of a sudden, the line goes slack, goes tight again. I think, bloody hell, this is strange. Next minute, the line comes out of the water, and there I am playing a duck in Callander. What has happened, my line's got wrapped around this duck's feet, and this duck is taken off, and I'm now got this duck on the end of the line. Well, some old lady walks up to me, starts beating the hell out of me with this umbrella, and says, don't be so cruel to our animals and that. I says, not my fault, it's a bloody duck out there. Eventually, I got this duck in, got the line off, and let the duck go. And I turned around, there were about 50 people standing around me. I tell you what, I did feel a pillock, I can tell you.
From Nick Clay, what do you two really think about Geoffrey Boycott as a player, a character, and a teammate?
Well, teammate?
Nick Clay, not me.
I'd tell you something about a teammate. This is how Geoffrey Boycott is as a great teammate to have in the side. In 1970-odd, Basil D'Oliveira tells a story when they were touring Australia. England were really struggling against that guy called Johnny Gleeson, the finger spinner, the leg spinner. And Boyks was the only one getting runs. Come the 4th test match, Basil goes out to bat with Boyks, and eventually Basil picks Johnny Gleeson and works out, well, this is it. I can pick his googly, I know what he's doing. And he starts scoring runs. And he thinks, well, I better go and tell Boyks this. So he goes down the wicket, walks up to Boyks and says, hey, Boyks, I've picked Johnny Gleeson. This is what he does. And Boyks said, I picked him in the first test match. But he says, Basil, don't tell the other buggers, okay?
The best way of summing up Boyks, one of my first tours, we were in Pakistan, and Mike Brealey was in charge. And this game started very early in the morning. And they had a guy called Sikandar Bhatt who played many tests, good lad actually, good bowler as well for Pakistan. And he ran in and he bowled this ball that bounced and nipped back and hit Breer straight on the forearm and smashed it badly. So we fly on to New Zealand for the second leg of the tour. We get there and God, Sir Geoffrey is now at the helm. And we managed to lose the first test in Wellington to a very ordinary New Zealand side. So we knew that we had to win the second test up in Christchurch, because if we didn't win that, the third and final game was in Auckland, and you wouldn't bowl your grandmother out twice on it. It was a feather bed. So the plan is all-out attack. New Zealand just avoid the follow-on on the fourth day, with 30 overs left to go, and the final day. And the wicket is deteriorating, it's starting to take spin, its bounce is uneven. So we thought, 30 overs, 10 wickets, sat in the dressing room, lads, this is what we've got to do. We'll throw the bat for the declare overnight with, say, 350, 380 lead, and bowl them out tomorrow. That's the plan. After 8 overs, Boyks is 2 not out. Get past that. After 12 overs, he accelerates to 5. So the vice captain comes into the dressing room, who I won't name, Bob Willis, and taps myself and Derek Randall on the shoulders and said, right lads, get padded up, you're the kamikaze squad. Wicket fell, Arkle goes out. Now it's 50 yards from the pavilion entrance to the middle, but Arkle does his usual 400 yards. Hey, all right, missus, how are you? Nice to see you. All right, lovely. Aye, grand. Nice day for cricket, isn't it? Aye, lovely. Aye, sun's got its hat on. Aye, lovely. So 20 minutes later, the game resumes. He gets out there. Now, as we're all told from the very first time, when the bowler runs into bowl, you back up. Elementary. Exactly what Derek Randall did. He wasn't trying to pinch an inch or anything. That well-known New Zealand sportsman, Ewan Chatfield, runs in, fakes the delivery, and runs Derek Randall out. I'm just about to leave the pavilion, and I get the tap on the shoulder. Beefy, when you get out there, run him out. I said, who? What? I said, that's God out there playing his 90th test. I'm playing my 3rd. He says, well, you won't play your 4th if you don't. So I wander out there and I get to the middle, and you know how the established batsman likes to come and have a chat with you and tell you what it's all doing. Well, Boyks comes, you know, I'm playing so well in, I just can't get it off the square. It's pressure cricket, pressure cricket. I can't say anything because I know what's going to happen. So I wander up to the non-strikers end of the over, take guard, pushed it into the covers, yes, no, sorry.
Gets it, looking for a single, could be out, there's sure to be a run out here, Botham is run out. Boycott is run out, they didn't cross. It is Boycott who was run out, they did not cross, and that is a total mix-up. This ball was bowled, they went for a quick single. It was an absurd single, the ball was hurled down this end, the bars were taken off, and if you'll notice the batsman had just crossed, and Boycott was the batsman given out.
What have you done? You can't run me out. I'm Geoffrey Boycott. What about me average? I can't look at him. I've got tears rolling down my face. I look behind me and the New Zealand lads have worked out what's happening and they are rolling around on the pitch. I look up to the pavilion to get some moral support from my England teammates and they're impersonating dead ants. Eventually, the 4 pit ponies drag him off. We get the runs, we declare overnight, and we'd won the game by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But can I tell you, it's the only time in my entire career where I ran in with the new ball for my country, with the captain stood at cover saying to mid-off, you ask him if he wants another slip, I'm not speaking to the bugger, you had it.
From Mike Doughton for you, Lammy. Just what happened with the Dickie Bird and the mobile phone?
Well, let me say Dickie Bird is a great umpire, he's a great character, and if anything happened on the field, Dickie Bird always got involved in it. You know, we were a real sunny day at Headingley, boiling hot, but we don't start on time because some pipes burst on a run-up, and you can imagine the Yorkshiremen are going mad, and Dickie Bird's in a real panic. Water's coming up through the ground. But Dickie's a great umpire, and I think all the opposition sides that come here, they think he's the best. But one thing about him, you can have a bit of fun with him. And we were playing a game down in Bristol against Gloucestershire, and after the game, we were in the pub having a few drinks, and Dickie was sitting on his own at this table, reading the newspaper and having a Coke. And I spotted him. I said, no, he's got to go, yeah. Anyway, I got hold of a lighter, and I sneaked up on him, and I just lit the newspaper at the bottom and walked away. Well, you can imagine, the next minute the whole newspaper went up in flames. Well, Dickie got such a bloody fright, he threw the thing down on the ground. Well, the carpet caught alight, and there's Dickie trying to stamp the bloody thing out, you see. Eventually the manager walks up to him, gives him one almighty bollocking and throws him out.
I had Northants were playing Lancashire at Old Trafford, and at the end of the match, Lammy said, all the best, Dickie, thanks a lot. Do we see you again? I said, yes, you see me later in the cricket season. He said, anyway, have a good journey home. And I had my shower and bath, and I went into the car park to get into my car. There were no wheels on my car. He took all the wheels off my car and jacked the car up and put the wheels at the side of the railings. And he put a note on the windscreen. All the best, Dickie, have a good journey home.
The mobile phone trick was, well, I was forced really to do it. I had no option because, you know, he's quite a big guy and he's a bit of a bully sometimes, you know. And he sort of got on this mobile phone, he was phoning the bookies up, and then sort of got me in a headlock because I said I wouldn't take the phone out to bat because he was going to phone me and tell me what the racing results were. I said, I can't answer a mobile phone out there. There's a one-day international, you know, the cameras are going to be there. You can't, I'm not going to do it. Well, he sort of got me in a headlock, nearly pulled my neck off, and I said, okay, I'll take it.
So I put the old mobile phone in the pocket and off I go. Down the steps at Old Trafford, through the members, onto the old grass, and as I get onto the grass, I get all this cat whistling and the shouting and that, and I think, bloody hell, and I look down, I tell you what, I look like Curtly Ambrose going about. Well, I try readjust it, and I'm feeling a bit embarrassed about this, and I said, now, there is no ways I'm going to have that phone in my pocket. I've got to get rid of it. Now, Dickie Bird was umpiring in this game, so I decided to walk straight towards him, and he wondered what was going on.
And I thought, what's he coming to me for at square leg? The picture's over there. Has his eyes gone? Anyway, he came over to me at square leg and he said to me, I want you to look after my mobile phone, Dickie. I said, you must be joking, man. It's the middle of a test match.
And I just dropped the mobile phone into his pocket. I said, just take a message, Dickie, there's a call coming for me. Well, you can imagine Dickie. He started jumping up and down. No, Lammy, he said, I can't have this, take it out here. I said, Dickie, I'm sorry. And I just walked off down the other end of the wicket. And Dickie's in a total panic. He's pulling on his cap, his arms are going all over the place. I go and take guard there, and in comes Waka Yunus, steaming in, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, what's going to happen here? And in he comes, and Waka Yunus is just approaching Dickie Bird. What happens? The bloody phone goes off. Well, Dickie gets such a fright, his arm just shoots out like this. It nearly decapitates Waka Yunus. He ducks out the way, and I've pulled out the way. I'm just laughing. I can't believe what. And Dickie shouting, help, help.
I said, Lammy, phone's ringing. He said, well, answer it, man. So I pulled it out of my pocket. I said, hello, who's there? This is Ian Botham ringing from the dressing room. Tell that lamb to play a few shots or get out.
From Marjorie Weston, who did you least like to share a room with on tour and why?
Do you mean teammates?
Well, I used to share a room with Bath, but I never saw him much. I think I had Eddie Hemmings. Eddie Hemmings was the worst guy you could ever sleep with, I can tell you. Eddie was like a beached whale. He used to snore for England. He was cerebral. You could not get any sleep. I tell you what, if I had a harpoon, I would have harpooned him. That's how bad he was. But I think the worst guy I had was Derek Randall. Now, Derek Randall never sat still. He jumped around. It was just incredible, this guy. What had happened, we were playing in this test match down in Brisbane, and night before the test match, I went out, got back 12-ish, 1-ish, whatever it was, came into the old room, and I thought, well, he's got to be asleep. Anyway, I came in very quietly, looked across to him. There he was, fast asleep. But the only problem is his legs and arms were still moving. I've never, ever seen anyone sleep like this before. So what I did, I climbed into bed, went off to sleep, and away I was gone. Eventually, I could woken up. Lammy. I said, what's wrong? He said, want a cup of tea, youth? I thought, oh, bloody hell, I've overslept, yeah. Not feeling too special. Light goes on, I look up, and there's Derek Randall with a pair of pads on, gloves, and a bat playing shots in the mirror. I think, what is going on here? Look at the watch, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I locked him up in the shithouse for the rest of the night, I can tell you that. What happened the following day, I said to Both, that's it, I'm not sharing, we've got to do something to him. Now, Both said, I've got a great one. Now, Derek Randall never puts his gloves on till he gets to the middle of the wicket. So Both said to me, we went down to the old test match, the following day, we were batting, and he said, listen, he said, keep Derek Randall busy, and I'll sort his gloves out. I said, great idea. What happened is it wasn't hard keeping Derek busy. I tell you, he was up and down the dressing room, in the toilet, outside, all over the place. Both get hold of his gloves, and he shoved a whole lot of condoms into the left and right hand glove. Put them back next to his bat, left them there, a wicket fell. What happened? Derek Randall came steaming in again, picked his gloves up, wicket had fallen, he had to go and picked his gloves up, picked the bat up, and we said, good luck, youth, and he just steamed out the old dressing room, jumped over the fence and sort of ran out to the wicket. Eventually, he got out to the middle of the wicket, all the Australians are waiting, television's on him, he's now trying to get his gloves on, but he can't get his hands in his gloves, can he? He now has got to get hold of these condoms and pile them into his pocket. They're falling all over the bloody place. All of a sudden, Tony Greig comes on the air and says, Jesus, it looks like Derek Randall's had a bloody good night last night, he says.
Yeah, he's right about Arkle. I mean, Eddie Hemmings was another nightmare. It was like sleeping with a VC-10 in the room. It was an amazing snorer. But Derek Randall, without doubt, was the worst. But Lammy and I roomed together for about 6 wonderful years. Well, until the wives put a stop to it. And then we were there, and we were in Adelaide. Just played the test, got back to the hotel that evening, sat in the bed about 8 o'clock watching Panorama, reading the National Geographic. There's a knock on the door, go and open the door, and there he is, the raving lunatic from Nottingham in a towel. Hey up, Beef, all right, grand, lovely day, wasn't it? Hey, grand creep. Is Lammy there? I said, yeah, come in. Come on, get in. 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes elapse. Jumps up, hey up, going off for a bath now, then I'm going for some dinner. Right, thanks a lot for that, Lammy, see you later, boys, bye. Slams the door. But when he slams the door, the rush of air causes that door over there to close. No key. Hey up, don't seem to have a key on me, what shall I do? With that, he went to the staircase and shot down the stairs, straight into the reception of the Adelaide Hilton. Poor young girl there, minding her own business, doing her nails, think the boyfriend will be here soon, we'll be off, oh, lovely, grand. Suddenly, she's confronted by Conan the Barbarian. Hey up, love, all right, guy, gone and done a daft thing, locked me sent out. Aye, silly, lovely day though, wasn't it? Aye, son had it, aye, grand, love. Can I have another key? With that, 200 diners come sprinting out the dining room. Hey up, food, no good then, I was going to eat here tonight. What's to do, missus? No good. Well, it was fine, wasn't it? Until 400 gallons of his bathwater went through the dining room ceiling. There's one little story I'll tell you about Derek, because he is one of the nicest guys that you would ever meet. Not an ounce of animosity in him, and he'd do anything for anybody in this room. Honestly, he would. But he is barking mad. I used to live quite close to him. Well, I was in the East Wing, and he was in the West Wing of Rampton. And Lords, we were going off to tour India in about 2 weeks' time, and Lords, as usual, last minute rush, can we come down and pick up some holdalls and stuff? So I said to Arkle, it's daft us both going down. I've got to go to London anyway. I'll pick up the gear and drop it off on the way home tonight. He says, that'd be grand, champion youth. Hey, lovely. That evening, get back to the house, knock on the door. His lovely wife Liz opens the door, dressed immaculately, except for a pair of cricket pads. Now, you know when you're looking at someone and you talk to them, you don't want to look at what's obviously wrong. It's very difficult, isn't it? And I'm there going, yes, Liz, I'd love a cup of tea, love, that'd be marvellous. Thank you very much. Yes, Liz, yes, thank you. So she goes into the kitchen, I wander into the lounge. In he comes, bouncing over the city. Hey up, Beef, all right, grand, thanks for that, wonderful job. He's got a pair on. I said, Arkle, come here. I said, you got anything you want to tell me? He said, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? I said, well, it's a bit kinky, innit, you and the missus, the old pads. You know, yeah, daft bugger, he says, we're off to bloody India in 2 weeks. I've got to break in the spare pair for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this evening. We thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a marvellous audience, probably the most responsive we've had in 47 nights, I think it is, or wherever we started.
Thank God it's the last one
yeah,
tonight.
Thank God. But, thank you all very much. Can I just say from Jez, who has done a great job over the show with us over the last few months, and to Lammy, it's been a pleasure working with them. We hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. And from all of us, safe journey home, and God bless. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank
Well, there you are, boys. 47 nights. Thank God I didn't drink for February. Otherwise I would have been alcoholic, I think.
What do you mean, what do you?
Oh, that's nice. Well, there we are, boys. Cheers, boys. Cheers, Jesse. And a judge!
All you do is just lie about it, that's all you do.
Lie, we praised you there.
Well, I think totally, a few comments are totally unjustified. I don't think I play Shane Warne quite as badly as that. But no, I've enjoyed the show. I've watched a couple of shows now, and certainly tonight was the last time round, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a great little theatre here, and the atmosphere was brilliant. But two great legends like that talking in such high esteem about me, you know, I feel very proud and very privileged, and I've just got to make sure that after all the wonderful things they've said, that I get back out there next season, make sure I play for England again.
No, it's not. That'll be edited. That will be edited.
As bad as my putt.
That will be edited.